Gather round, for the 5th part of the Sonic Frontiers Starfall Tournament has arrived. This What If series is an exploration into an alternative timeline where the End devised a tournament to set itself free from the cyberspace prison as we saw in Sonic Frontiers. Previously, we had just witnessed Chaos 1 defeat Rouge the Bat. We've seen over half the contestants enter the ring at this point. Who's next? Before we get into things though, if you enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe to let me know you want to see more of this, as well as to share your opinions. But most importantly, if you do want to support what I do, please share the video so that other people may also find it and join in on the conversation. With that said, let's get straight into it. Shadow gazes towards the sky in contemplation. Rouge. At least she wasn't eliminated by a weakling. Classy as always, Omega. Naturally. Chaos makes his leave of the arena and finds a spot somewhere near Dr. Eggman. He turns his head to look at him silently. Eggman notices this, gets irritated. "No, not you as well. I'm tired of being surrounded by traitors. You destroyed my marvelous egg carrier as if it was nothing. After everything I did for you, setting you out of that emerald. Don't give me a look like that." It is then that the End announces the next match will be between Whisper and the Rookie. Whisper doesn't so much as glance towards the Rookie as she dons her mask and joins the field. The Rookie, however, gazes in his own reflection on the surface of his Wispon. Sonic walks over and puts a hand on his back. "You sure you can do this? I know you're both Resistance members, but we all know the consequences of not taking part in the battle." The Rookie gives Sonic a nod, affirming that he does understand what needs to happen, and walks onto the arena himself. Staring down at Whisper, he can't believe it's come to this. Whilst he was fighting in the Resistance, he heard tales of the Guardian Angel, known to be Whisper, who would help many survivors, but never really joined in an official capacity. A lot of people consider Rookie a hero these days, especially near the end of the war, so it doesn't feel right. But there is an eerie presence to Whisper, as if she's been disturbed, so he knows he's going to have to try his best. At once, the two of them raise their weapons towards one another to fire. Whisper shoots with a precise bolt from her variable Wispon. It streaks through the air towards the Rookie, and he, in turn, launched a burst of flame from his burst Wispon. However, it is inadequate to dispel the bolt of energy from Whisper's weapon. As a result, it crashes into the Rookie's Wispon, knocking it from his hand. He looks over as if to move for it, but before he can, Whisper shoots it again, knocking it even further away from him. She then immediately turns the weapon back towards the Rookie and shoots once more. An orange bolt of energy heads towards the Rookie, powered by an orange wisp that will explode upon impact. He manages to dive out of the way, but she shoots again, following his movements. A direct hit. The Rookie had nowhere to run as he's sent flying backwards and ends up falling into the ravine created earlier by Zavok's attack. Whisper approaches with her Wispon still focused on the last point she saw the Rookie. Meanwhile, down the crevice, the Rookie is listening carefully, supporting himself by bridging between the two gaps of the ravine. Once Whisper seems to be close enough, he jumps out and throws his grapple hook towards her, but it was a trick. Whisper had kicked some rubble nearer the lip of the ravine, which the Rookie unfortunately mistook for herself. So his grapple misses her completely, though it does latch onto the surface of the arena, yanking him towards it. Whisper misses her shot as a result of this, but quickly turns around to find the Rookie. Out of options, the Rookie charges Whisper and gets put down by another explosive shot to his head, knocking him out, cracking his glasses. Whisper simply leaves the arena, going to stand on her own in silence. Meanwhile, the Rookie fades away. Surge can't help but admire the clinical lethality of Whisper's attack. Yeesh, Whisper. I didn't realize you could be so deadly. You should be like this more often. Keeping to himself, Silver looks over the remaining combatants and ponders about his chances. It's clear that out of the people present, there are defined groups that they prefer to remain in, and yet none of these bonds matter if this end decides, because then they'll end up fighting their friends. On top of this, it's clear there are a lot of powerful people, some of which he didn't even know about before. The question is, who will he be up against? Sonic speaks softly to himself. Don't worry, buddy. We'll make sure you get out of there. As he thinks on the rookie's disappearance. Without much of a break, the end announces the next match. It will be between Mephiles and Knuckles. Silver's brow instinctively twitches at the mention of this Mephiles, though he nor anyone else knows who this refers to. This is about to change. Charmy B looks to Espio and asks, "Metha, who?" And as if in response, a rumbling can be heard from the arena. Then, surging from one of the crevices, a spew of black energy pours out and rockets into the sky. The darkness flows down from up above and starts to coil around the participants. Eggman covers his scalp as he ducks low, avoiding it overhead. Infinite simply waves his hand, unamused by the display, but eventually it emanates into the floor beside Sonic and most of his friends, pulsing into a cloud of purpley black smog. And as the particles begin to dissipate, a strange and sinister hedgehog form reveals itself. Arms open and looking towards the sky, it's got a strange bluish pitch, scale-like texture to its quills, lacking proper feet, and most interestingly of all, seemingly having no mouth. Despite lacking the traditional features required for speech, the individual does so all the same. "At last I am free, and a host of familiar faces to greet me. I am honored." The individual bows, mockingly or sincerely, is hard to determine. Sonic feels an instinctive cold chill creep over his chest, and he can't help but clutch it, confused why he's getting such a strange feeling. Silver likewise feels on edge, but he has no frame of reference. Did he meet this person before? Surely this is something he wouldn't have forgotten. And Shadow gazes upon him with a cold, calculating look, on guard and on edge. Fully aware of how his presence is unsettling the others, Mephiles decides to push things along. He looks towards Sonic. "Marvelous what a few tears can do, wouldn't you agree?" Sonic tilts his head and bears a confused expression, for once not quite knowing what to say. Mephiles cannot help but chuckle, reveling in the confusion he's sown between the heroes. Sickened, Amy asks who is this guy, garnering his attention. Mephiles opens his arms out once again and greets. "I'm Mephiles, Mephiles the Dark. It would seem you've all forgotten me, but perhaps this is for the best. I owe a great debt to all of you, one that I intend to repay in full." Then, tilting his head with an unnatural motion towards Shadow, he says, "Especially you, Shadow the Hedgehog. You have a particular payment in store." Shadow confronts the enigma. "Who are you, and how do you know my name?" Mephiles turns to fully face him. "Time is a rather flimsy concept for a being such as I. It appears I'm fated to meet with you whenever I re-emerge. I would share more, but you had your chance in the past. This time, things will be different. I will not repeat my mistakes." Knuckles, considerably fed up with all of the happenings at this tournament, speaks in, stomping his foot down to get the attention of this new person, Mephiles. "Hey, your fight's with me, so less blabbering and more fighting." Mephiles turns to face Knuckles and looks him down.
"A fight, you say? What a splendid idea."
Without turning his gaze away from Knuckles, he floats backwards, a trail of purple flame following him until he arrives on his side of the arena. Knuckles grabs his shoulder and spins his arm, pumping himself up for the combat, but his friends gather around him. "Knuckles, this person is... I don't know. You gotta have a better plan than just walking up and punching him in the face." "I don't know, Sonic. Tends to work out. You should try it sometime." And he begins to head over. Climbing up onto the arena, he points his fist towards his opponent. "No funny business. I just want a straight fight. Think you can do that?" Mephiles simply floats, without responding. "Huh, so you're gonna be like that, huh? Fine. I'll make sure you remember this." And with that, the fight commences, as Knuckles charges towards Mephiles, pulling his fist back for a powerful punch. Mephiles makes no attempt to gain distance between himself, and instead allows Knuckles to approach unoffended. Once Knuckles unleashes his first punch towards Mephiles, he simply floats just out of reach. Knuckles continues to send more punches, but Mephiles simply floats just out of reach every single time, getting on the echidna's nerves.
"Stay still or fight back, but stop running."
And he does a short hop in the air to deliver a lower smash with his fist, hitting the ground from where Mephiles once stood. A black and purple cloud of dust is all that remains of the strange individual. Knuckles stands back up, looking at the crack in the floor he's made.
That didn't feel right.
And his instincts were correct. From the crack, he suddenly sees Mephiles, but he's two-dimensional? He comes from Knuckles' own shadow, occupying its same space, and he taunts,
"What's the matter? Can't hit your own shadow?"
Knuckles gets angry. This is exactly the type of tricks he meant he didn't want to see, and decides to smash the ground again anyway, with the ringing laughter of Mephiles echoing in his ear, breaking another chunk of this already poxed arena, and spewing forth the shadow of Mephiles, but it coalesces into a different form. In fact, one that mirrors Knuckles the Echidna. Indeed, a greyed out, colourless Knuckles hunches over where the shadow once was. The only colour remaining is the emerald green glow of its slit eyes, and it lacks a mouth. Knuckles steps back, shocked and confused.
What is this guy?"
Eggman leans in.
"Oh, now this I didn't foresee."
And Infinite turns his head away dismissively. "It's nothing impressive." Mephiles takes a step forward, shabby and incomplete, as if he were just to fall over, arms drooping at his side and head barely lifting up to look Knuckles in the eye.
"Now this should make things more interesting."
And with that, he delivers a powerful blow to Knuckles, who was unprepared, as it scrapes into his shoulder, shoving him back a couple centimeters. Knuckles realizes,
"He doesn't just look like me, he packs a punch."
Mephiles doesn't wait and sends another one coming, but this time Knuckles is ready to guard, blocking it with his hands before countering with his own punch. The two begin to trade blows, hit for hit, each taking damage as the Knuckles' strength is used for and against him. They start matching their timing, colliding with each other mid-attack. The hits are powerful enough to cause the smaller pieces of rubble on the floor to shake with each strike. Everyone watches in awe and suspicion as to what unfolds next. Knuckles thinks to himself that he might have copied his strength, but he hasn't learned all of his fighting techniques and experience. He crouches down into a spin dash, hitting Mephiles in the leg, causing one of them to go up behind him. This time is all Knuckles needs to quickly launch out of the spin ball into a spiraling uppercut that launches the grey copy of himself up into the air. Knuckles can't help but smirk at this, but his copy flips around in the air and then extends his arm forward, gliding straight back down towards Knuckles. He quickly raises his hands to intercept the attack, struggling against the force of Mephiles, but he's just about able to pivot on his heel and slam him into the ground. Mephiles simply bounces off of this with the force of the impact and lands back on his feet, clearly going for another punch to Knuckles, who manages to sidestep it and give him a strong hook to the side of the jaw. But Mephiles simply pushes his face against the punch and then sends one of his own towards Knuckles, catching him in the gut. Blaze can't help but comment, "This guy's a freak." But Knuckles delivers a powerful punch with everything he's got, gritting down his teeth as Mephiles' fist is still against his chest, as he unleashes a strong golf swing up into the chin of Mephiles. A loud, unsettling snap is heard as Mephiles' body curves backwards, past the point in which the spine is supposed to stop. His lower body and legs remain stationary, but his upper torso hangs loosely down back. Amy quickly covers Cream's face, and everyone else looks with a mixture of disturbed and intrigued awe. Knuckles himself remains frozen in the position of his punch, unsure how this happened. What? However, the body simply rises back, clicking itself back into position as if nothing had happened. Mephiles then brings his gloved fist back and punches Knuckles, who was in no state to respond. He's sent careening down into one of the ravines from an earlier match. Mephiles laughs. "What's the matter?" After which, he picks up a large concrete slab and throws it down into the ravine that Knuckles fell towards. His gasp of pain is heard, and he doesn't resurface. Mephiles sheds the form of Knuckles back to his strange, sinister hedgehog ideal, and looks to the audience, saying nothing, proud of his work. Then, suddenly, the ground beneath him opens up, as bruised, battered, and enraged, Knuckles had dug from the ravine beneath Mephiles and launched a surprise attack, catching him in the jaw once again. Though it does little to harm him, Mephiles is admittedly a little impressed that such a primitive creature tricked him. Though he's done playing games, he holds out his palm and a black and purple sphere of energy appears. Knuckles raises his arms in front of his face to protect from it, but it's not enough. He launches it forward and it engulfs Knuckles in one go. He's left screaming in pain as his whole body's burnt and electrified by this strange energy. Once it dissipates, he drops to his knees and collapses, unconscious. Observing as Knuckles' form begins to fade away, Mephiles dissipates into a cloud of shadow and scatters to the wind. Sonic's arms drop to his side in a gesture of sadness. "Shoot!" Omega turns to Shadow. "Shadow, have you met this creature before?" "I can't remember, but he definitely seemed to know me." Zaz looks to his boss.
Zavok, this guy, what do you make of him? You think we can smash him?"
"Uncertain. Of course nothing can overcome me, but it might be more problematic than I originally intended." Silver has a dark feeling within him, and he can't ignore it. He heads over towards Sonic's group and approaches the Hedgehog. "Hey, was it just me, or was there something familiar about that guy?" Sonic looks at Silver. "There's definitely something, but I'm not sure I'd say familiar. I would recognize a guy with that smile." Shadow steps in. "I felt it too. Intriguing we've all had something similar, despite none of us recognizing the form." And then Blaze approaches. Whatever the case, this end has more tricks than we originally believed. This is going to test us even further than it already has. On that, we all agree. Silver chirps in. And so we find ourselves in the aftermath of another decisive round in the Starfall Tournament. Would you believe that 2 heroes of the Resistance have fallen today? The Rookie and Knuckles the Echidna. Whisper still seems to be dealing with the emotions from last time. We'll see if that improves during her course in this event. And of course, perhaps the most infamous member of today was Mephiles the Dark himself. I hope you enjoyed my take on Mephiles. I tried to stay as faithful as possible. Obviously he only showed up once, so I had to do quite a bit of legwork in the development office. Still, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. It really does mean a lot to see that you enjoy this type of content, and if you do want to see more, please let me know in the comments below. Like the video and share it around to help attract other people to join in on the fun. I hope you have a good day and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor signing off.